suspect was living under their home.
And a deadly crash in Virginia calls attention to safety violations at a North Carolina bus company.
I think he was trying to call my bluff, so to speak. I think he really thought that I was not going to show up.
And how a Wayne County woman took her job search to a lawmaker's front door.
Live in the Triangle, this is NBC17 News at 6.
It was back to work and school today for most everyone, but it also meant back into the 90s.
Yeah, for the 6th time already this month, temperatures soaring into the 90s. Chief Meteorologist Wes Hohenstein sweating it out with us and joins us now with the latest on the heat.
My car thermometer said 99 on the way in this afternoon. Thankfully, it was a cool 95 at the Raleigh-Durham International Airport. We did make it to 99 today officially down in Fayetteville. And look at our temperatures right now. I mean, first of all, shouldn't have red on the contour map. It's a little too early in the season for that. Temperatures everywhere still in the 90s. And you add in the humidity today, which was up there again, that dew point temperature in the 70s. Again, that's August humidity. You factor in the temperature and humidity, and you get feels like numbers that down in Sampson County, still around 100, close to that everywhere else. And guess what? It gets a little bit hotter tomorrow, and we add in some air quality issues. Code orange in the Triangle, Rocky Mount, and Fayetteville. There is rain in the forecast, though, tomorrow. We'll talk about when that might come in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Wes. We'll see you then.
New hope for thousands of unemployed workers going without benefits.
Lawmakers have reached an agreement that retroactively extends benefits to 37,000. Job search to a local law answer. In an email, Catherine Twill are a joke. You act as if it were that easy, like, oh, just go find a job. Here's a list. How about this, sir? How about you find someone willing to hire me? Our Jackie Fay reports LaRoque obliged and hired Treadway to work in his front yard.
Her high school class and a graduate of UNC. She lost her job last year. Then her unemployment benefits were cut off in April when they expired because the state didn't take action.
I feel like everybody has the wrong idea about these people who need these extended benefits. We're not asking for a simple handout. We're asking for a hand up.
In a plea to restore the benefits, Treadway decided to write her representative, Stephen LaRoque.
I sympathize with everybody who's trying to find work, who's truly out, beating the bushes, knocking on doors and trying to find the jobs. Some folks, I don't believe, are doing that.
LaRoque took Treadway's job search into his own hands.
Maybe she should try Sanderson Farms, which is a processing plant in Kinston. According to a website I went to, they had 191 openings.
Treadway says she had already applied there with no luck. And after 8 heated emails, LaRoque decided if Treadway really wanted a job, he'd hire her to work in his yard for $8 an hour.
I think he really thought that I was not going to show up. I mean, that was my thought. I was determined that, yes, I was going to show up and I was going to do the best job that I could to show him that I was not one of the lazy constituents that he was trying to say that I was.
But the arrangement didn't exactly work out. And after an hour, LaRoque says Treadway quit.
So was her work worth your $8?
I probably got less than a half hour's worth of actual work.
LaRoque told me he was honestly hoping the arrangement would work out and that he had planned to give Treadway a raise and recommendations if it did. Jackie Fay, NBC17 News.
Thanks, Jackie. More than 2,000 people lose their benefits every week unless lawmakers approve an extension.
The latest version of the Senate budget would spend $240 million more for public education than the House budget approved earlier this year. It also restores $39 million to keep teacher assistants, but it makes $120 million in flex cuts to K through 12 schools. NBC17's Kim Gennaro tracking the budget and joins us from the legislative building with the latest. Kim?
Good evening. Well, the Republicans tell us they are keeping their campaign pledge to protect the classroom. The governor doesn't quite see it that way, saying they're simply shuffling of money. And she says this latest budget plan is a charade.
Determination. Dedication.
Educators alongside parents rallied to save thousands of teaching assistant jobs last month. And today, Republican lawmakers announced a budget compromise to fully fund TAs, teachers, and even add some jobs.
And actually funds our reform of K-12 education, the additional 1,100 teachers in grades 1, 2, and 3.
But make no mistake, education cuts remain. The plan cuts at least $120 million in flexible spending to local school districts. Democratic senators call the cuts devastating.
It's devastating because we know that education is the thing that makes North Carolina strong. We know this is what helps us prepare our students for the future. It helps attract jobs, business, and industry. That's not a place we need to be cutting. We need to be cutting elsewhere in the budget.
Governor Bev Perdue called the budget compromise a charade that still impacts the classroom.
Superintendents and principals and teachers have done all they can do. They've done more with less for 2 years. This is the third year of this budget shortfall. And there is nothing else left for them to cut but more bodies and teachers, educators, teachers' assistants.
So the governor's solution, rather than cut education, she says that's not necessary if you simply keep that penny temporary sales tax in place. The Republicans have no interest in that. They are steamrolling, planning to pass this spending plan in both the Senate and House. The governor should have this latest budget on her desk by Saturday. Live in Raleigh, Kim Gennardo, NBC 17 News.
All right, Kim, thanks.
It's a terrifying thought. A murder suspect living under your house without you knowing it. That's what happened to a Cary family. Police arrested 22-year-old Robert John Dedone Saturday for several residential burglaries. Later, he was linked to the murder of Allison Jurek in Raleigh. But our Charlotte Huffman found out sometime before his arrest, Dedone was living in the crawl space of a Cary family's house.
Cary resident Lynn Siegel says he always locks the door to his crawl space. That's why Sunday night he was surprised to find the door wide open. Inside, Siegel noticed things like this umbrella stand and this shovel had been moved around. In the back, a pile of dirt and lava rocks, evidence someone had attempted to start a fire. And his most surprising discovery?
The tent was sitting right here.
Siegel found a tent set up in the middle of the crawl space, and authorities confirmed the man living inside was this man, Robert Dedone, who made his initial appearance today in court on a charge of first-degree murder.
It's just unbelievable to know that, you have a murderer living in your house. It's just, from now on, whenever I walk in this door, I'll always see that pup tent there, and it's shaking us. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Charlotte Huffman, NBC 17 News.
Dedone had his first appearance today. He's being held in the Wake County Jail on several breaking and entering charges and the murder charge, which he's set to appear in court for on June 21st.
A federal grand jury considering criminal charges against John Edwards will not meet until next week. The former senator could be indicted for using campaign funds to cover up a child he fathered with mistress Rielle Hunter. Politico is reporting that Edwards' North Carolina attorney, Wade Smith, is leaning towards a plea deal. His other attorney, though, Greg Craig, is said to be pushing to take the case to trial, calling campaign finance laws